Okay, so this is the small agenda. We are going to talk about what is AI. I still think this is necessary to talk about because I still observe from now and then that there are slight misunderstandings. Then I also think when we talk about AI, I will also talk a little bit about the AI Act, but I hope I won't disappoint anyone here if I tell you that this is not a speech only on the AI Act because, yeah, it's on company law and corporate governance. So the next point would be the use of AI in company law and corporate governance, regulations related to the use of AI. And here, yes, I will talk a little bit about the EU AI Act. Then a judgment related to AI from the Netherlands. Is there anyone from the Netherlands here today? Super, so you might even be able to support me. And then, of course, always questions and comments. So, what is AI? The first news is that maybe you might not be surprised, we don't have a universally accepted definition of what AI is. And until February this year, I've only used this definition that you can here see on the screen. This is a definition from 2019 by the high-level expert group on AI. I myself, on behalf of the European Women Lawyers Association, we also tried to get appointed on the high-level expert group on AI. We did not get appointed. We were a little bit disappointed, but I know that many very valuable people have been or are still on this expert group, and they came up with this rather long definition, which, okay, I will read this to you or to us. AI systems are software or possibly also hardware systems designed by humans that, given a complex goal, act in the physical or digital dimension by perceiving their environment through data acquisition, interpreting the collected structured or unstructured data, reasoning on the knowledge or processing the information derived from this data and deciding the best action or actions to take to achieve the given goal. AI systems can either use symbolic rules or learn a numeric model, and they can also adapt their behavior by analyzing how the environment is affected by their previous actions. As a scientific discipline, AI includes several approaches and techniques such as machine learning, of which deep learning and reinforcement learning are specific examples, machine reasoning, which includes planning, scheduling, knowledge representation and reasoning search, and optimization, and robotics, which includes control, perception, sensors and actuators, as well as the integration of all other techniques into cyber-physical systems. Okay, now this is rather long, very long, so you might not be surprised that I can tell you now that in the new EU AI Act, which has been leaked on the 2nd of February of this year, and so what has been leaked is a document which is, I think, about 800 pages, of which 278 are the Act. There is a definition, I think in the Article 3 of this EU AI Act, which is aligned with the OECD, because the OECD has also a definition of AI, and this is rather short and is really only focused on the part of AI as systems as software. What is not AI? AI is not big data. And I'm always stressing this because I think still there is sometimes this misunderstanding that a lot of data means AI. For example, I have a very good friend who thought that it would be interesting to develop an AI system by using the data she has in Outlook in order to understand who has been writing to her. But this is not AI. This is just a lot of data, which then she tries to put in a special order. Okay, so this is big data. This is not AI. When we talk about AI, and now especially when we have this new EU AI Act, I think it's very important to understand where we Europeans are in the AI landscape. So this is data from 2021, and in 2021, OECD told us that more than 60 countries, territories, and the EU have developed over 700 AI policy strategies. And this is changing so quickly that I guess, okay, this is just a guess, but I suppose that we are now maybe with over 2,000 AI policy strategies and laws, because this is developing very, very fast. The government of China, so the big players here when we talk about AI is China and the United States. And China, for example, they have this very ambitious plan that they want to become the largest pole of AI development in the world by 2030. And they're really on a very good way. The United States still has an overall lead in the development and use of AI, but China is catching up and will continue to reduce the remaining gaps in important areas. Europe, on the other hand, and that might not be surprising that I'm telling you this, and this is, maybe no surprise, but I think we should wake up, is falling behind and will continue to do so unless it makes significant policy changes that on the one hand make their regulatory system more innovation-friendly, but on the other hand respects the privacy and integrity of its citizens. And this is not my statement, this is a statement by EU from 2018. And if you're asking yourself and you want to ask me if I think that the EU AI Act is such a regulation that helps us to put us as a leader, I don't know. I have no idea. We will see what the future will bring. So, that's why the European Commission, that's again taken from EU text, is striving for an ecosystem of excellence, where along the entire value chain of AI. However, what is really what we all have to fight with and what we have to learn to live with is that we're not trusting AI. Who of you is using ChatGPT? Who has been using ChatGPT since its launch, especially last year? 1%? Thank you. One, two. Oh yeah, that's not so bad. That's excellent. I'm a huge user of ChatGPT, and I'm always surprised, about the outcome. And I feel a little bit. I don't know if you know the series Knight Rider from a series from 1982 with David Hasselhoff. Yeah, it was quite famous in Germany with his car KITT. K-I-T-T, and David Hasselhoff was able to speak with KITT, and KITT was able to answer David Hasselhoff and give really interesting answers. And sometimes I feel like this with my ChatGPT, because I ask all sorts of questions and the answers are not so bad. But this is really worrying, and I will come back to this later. Yeah, but without this trust in AI, and it seems that, I can show you here, that we don't have trust, or we don't trust AI, at least in European Union. There was the last Edelman Trust Barometer from 2021 that showed that EU member state countries such as France, the Netherlands, Ireland, Germany, and Spain, but also the US, have a general distrust in businesses that work with AI, whereas China, India, Mexico, and other non-EU countries trust in the AI technology industry. I don't know if Edelman did this questions now, or did the new research now after using ChatGPT, if the answers of citizens would change, would be worth a try. I told you that the AI landscape is really divided between US and China. And in the US, it's especially the six biggest companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, IBM, Microsoft, and Meta, which are building AI, while in China, It's the three companies, Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent, that are fooling the government's authoritarian ambitions. But it's really, the AI development is really in the hands of companies. And I think we always have to be aware of this and should always think of this, also while using ChatGPT. Yeah, so I'm sure, yeah, so Vanessa told in my introduction that I also work a lot with DEI issues. What is DEI? DEI is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And this is still a huge problem in ChatGPT. So I'm now doing myself a test with my ChatGPT, my kit. I'm posting every day on LinkedIn a post, and I always ask my kit if it's a she, for me it's a she, if she could please develop me an image on the topic that I want to do a post. And the first image is always very male-dominated. There's never a woman, never. And when I say please include a woman, then it exaggerates and they're only women. So it's not really, she is not really able to, still not really able, to be inclusive as it would be great to have it. Also, I myself, another aspect that I do is I work as a researcher in research projects, especially in the Horizon Europe projects. And there's a lot of money that the European Union spends on AI development. And that's also something that I wanted to tell you. So the next issue, and that's what the main focus today, is the use of AI in company law and corporate governance. And now on these two following slides that I show you, you will see the aspects of company law and corporate governance where we could use AI if we were able to do so. So this is on the one hand the decision-making processes, like for example appointment of company bodies, then the adoption or execution of other company decisions, and management activities. And so this was the decision-making process, and we continue with the monitoring and compliance checks. Here we could have, and there already exists AI solutions for oversight and compliance activities, and the formation, registration of companies and filings. We already saw the different standards of AIs. And here you can see, before I dive deeper and present to you some of the AI solutions that already exist, maybe you cannot see it very well here, but you will have the presentation, so you can dive deeper if you want. You can see, for example, which AI solutions are already used. But again, this is from 2021, so I'm sure there will be much more solutions already. So for example, appointment of company bodies. There is 6% of companies that say that they already use AI solutions when they appoint company bodies. Then for the adoption of other company decisions, we have 18% of companies that say they work with AI solutions. The same more or less with management activities and enterprise risk management solutions, monitoring sustainability indicators, audit activities, monitoring risks of insolvency, compliance procedures, and monitoring compliance with company law. So it's like more or less 20% of the asked companies, they say they work with AI solutions. But the amount of companies that are even not planning to use AI solutions was, at least in 2021, much bigger. And maybe that connects very well, again, with what I told you at the beginning about the trust in AI, that it has not really arrived yet. But I'm sure this has changed a little bit now with ChatGPT, which is very dominantly now here with us, at least since November last year. The problem, again, is this is a European study. Yeah. So again, I think between the United States and China, this looks differently. And this is worrying because we are behind them. And these two countries still continue to produce AI and robots and so on and so forth, which can also be acquired by us. There I would like to give you an example, and Philippe, that maybe connects with your question. Who of you knows the movie I, Robot? Or watched the movie I, Robot? Yeah, fantastic. Is there anyone here who watched the movie and could maybe tell us why the main person in the movie was so angry with robots? Would you recall this? Would you remember why Will Smith was so angry with the robots? Can somebody recall why that was the case? Will Smith was super angry with the robots of something that happened at the beginning of the movie. Somebody recalls? Yeah, so the case, it was not a family member, but very well. So at the beginning of the movie, there was a car accident, and two cars, and his car, so Will Smith's car, and another car, they were thrown into a river. And while he was sitting in the car, and there was a girl, maybe 12 years old, who was also sitting in the other car, and he saw this girl, and there came a robot jumping into the river and saving his life, because the robot was able to calculate in the movie to calculate which life was more worth to save, yeah? And the robot decided that it was better to save his life and not the girl's life. And that made him very angry. And I'm telling you this because this can be our future, that there are robots that take decisions, Philippe, and this is what you just mentioned. And so when I talked about this movie with an Indian friend of mine, it was a she told me that the robot would have decided differently, that the robot would not have solved or saved the life of Will Smith, who in this movie was 35 years old, sorry, I forgot to mention this, but of the little girl, because the robot would have, or in the Asian culture, the younger life is more worth than the older life. Yeah, okay, old, 35. So, but this is a real problem, because our values, our very different values, enter different products, but that are sold or purchased globally, yeah? And then you end up with a robot bought in Asia, which will not save your life, but a life of a girl. But you thought maybe you had bought a European robot who would save your life. Yeah, I'm just joking, or trying to build on this example. But this is a real problem, and we don't speak the same language, because culturally we are very different. And I think this is one of our more challenges that we have. So coming back to company law and corporate governance, and how can we use the AI systems that we already have. So for the appointment of company bodies, the colleagues from the EY team, they could not identify none of the AI systems that could serve as an example here. So we continue. But for example, for the adoption or execution of other company decisions. So this is, for example, for the adoption of codes of conduct, the definition of business strategies, analyzing the long-term performance of the company, sustainability impact analysis and due diligence processes, and traceability in the supply chain. So for these different aspects, you could, for example, use this AI system here for everyone. And for everyone is a demand forecasting and sales trend analytics system which improves business efficiency. The tool takes data from retailer systems as input and provides a solution that enables businesses to predict sales trends and consumer demands. You could also use Cloud KPI, which is a platform for cloud analytics that acts to help businesses in more data-driven strategic decision-making, and it consolidates information from across a company's existing software and turns it into insights to discover correlations, patterns, and trends from the dispersed cloud data. Cloud KPI is designed for SaaS companies and is a plug-and-play solution deployable in a very short time. So these are just some examples. You have more in the presentation, and you can you dive deeper into them if you're interested. Then we continue with management activities. What am I referring to? I'm, for example, referring to the approval of transactions, including extraordinary operations, other agreements, or any other managerial decision-making, third-party selection processes, investment decisions, and shareholder engagement. Here you could, for example, use Exact from the Netherlands, which is, Exact is a company which provides its clients with platforms supporting them in their investments. And among Exact's products, we can find an AI tool which is able to automate the processing of bank transactions and entering invoices. The aim is to save the client's time, automating repetitive processes thanks to machine learning. Another relevant function may be represented by the capacity of the tool, which can analyze financial data and identify the most valuable trend to support the business decision. And here you can see more AI solutions for management activities. Maybe I just go back to the third-party selection process. For example, I could see here the danger, if I may, that imagine there was negative information on your company or the company you're working for, and an AI, like for example, Exact, is taking this negative information on your company in its as it was said before, garbage in, garbage out. So as its data going into the AI, and what comes out is negative information on a third party, And it's very difficult in the AI, once it's garbage in, garbage out, to really eliminate this error. Because maybe it was just a rumor and it was not true, the information. Maybe it was just false information about a third party. But then to rectify this is very difficult, and this is really a danger with the AI systems. We continue then with the oversight and compliance activities. So this is, for example, enterprise risk management, oversight and protection of employees' rights and other stakeholder interests, the monitoring of sustainability indicators and due diligence processes, compliance procedures and reporting obligations, audit activities as part of oversight and control, monitoring of relevant parameters for risk of insolvency, and tasks related to directors' liability and accountability to shareholders. What AI solutions can I offer you here? It's just some, Maybe I will just read to you the first one, because we already talked about anti-money laundering today. So there's this digital AML from Denmark, which is a solution including risk analysis, identification, verification, know your customer, politically exposed person, sanctions list, typography, etc. These are indeed very good tools. One of my clients is a French-listed, very, very important company. I'm sure all of you know it, but I won't say the name. And they have not this tool, but a very similar tool, but it's not free of mistakes, So we always realize that we can use these tools, but we should never ever, Philippe, you're absolutely right, never ever forget to control it and still continue thinking. Never forget our human brain, and always just see this as a support, but not rely 100% on these tools. There are some illustrative use cases of AI solutions for the formation and registration of companies. For example, AI tools in the Estonian e-business register. Do we have somebody, a colleague from Estonia here today? No. Good. So this is because then I would have asked, have you used this and how does it work? So this is an AI-based automated company name suitability validation system, which is under testing in the Estonian e-business register. And this tool would allow users to know whether the name chosen for a company has already been used. And the e-business register is also the domain of an e-translation project. And this will provide services such as domain adaptation, terminology resolution, named entity recognition, document filtering, and normalization. And last time I met an Estonian citizen, they were both judges. I asked them if they know this tool, but they were not familiar with it, so I don't know if it has been successful or not. So then I go quickly back to ChatGPT, because now as a compliance lawyer, since last November, what I'm doing is I go through all the risk maps of my clients to include ChatGPT as a high risk. Why? Because I have been observing that many employees use it can be also trade secrets, or use internal information of the companies, and they put them into the ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT, I hope very kindly, ask them, to write nice emails or reports and so on and so forth, because ChatGPT is able to do this. What is the problem? The problem is that trade secrets get into this system, and then they are out there. And employees seem not to be aware of this, and this is a huge problem. So does this mean that companies should forbid the usage of ChatGPT in the companies? I don't think so, but at least tell your employees that they take out the name of the company, and also avoid to put in very sensitive information. This should really be avoided. Yeah, any comments on this or a question? Great, so we can continue. Yeah, what are the existing potential opportunities and risks of AI related to company law and to corporate governance issues? So on the one hand, regarding the autonomy and agency, we have the opportunity of the establishment and operation of decentralized autonomous organizations, which is great, because it really helps you to move on more quickly, because you can, this morning we have talked about tools, digital tools, and how difficult it is to get hold of some information. And with a good AI, this would be done in a second, yeah? So there would this would be really, really helpful. What is the risk? So the risk is the lack of clarity about constitutional rights of AI-controlled companies, and the difficulties with the right to appeal against AI decisions. We continue with the fiduciary duties and liability. What is an opportunity here? So AI is helping directors perform their fiduciary duties to the company more effectively, and AI technologies in the company law and corporate governance, enabling the facilitation of proof in case of damage. What are the risks in this case? So on the one hand, the uncertainty whether avoiding the use of available AI solutions is a violation of the fiduciary duties of corporate boards and directors. Problems with the allocation of liability when an AI technology is involved and there is a harm linked to it. Also, legal implications of data loss and the non-transparency of the causes for AI malfunctioning. Security. Related to security, we don't really have an opportunity. At least I could not think of an opportunity, but a big risk is cybersecurity and threats to the security and valorization of European data. Regarding economic issues, the big opportunities are making regulatory sandboxing more effective and efficient, and businesses benefiting from improved access and use of data through AI technologies. What are the risks? For example, the failure to ensure a level playing field after the proliferation of AI solutions. And now we come to the ethical issues, which I'm mostly worried about. What if you want to find an opportunity? What is the opportunity? That it's easier for you to reveal and address historic bias in human-made decisions. But the other part is, and again, I go back again to the garbage in, garbage out. It's us feeding the machine with data, and it's us being biased. So in fact, most of our decisions are biased, which is not a bad thing, but it's really a worrying thing when it's getting automated, because then it's very difficult to get rid of it. And I will now give you some examples. So it's my favorite example. It's, I think, very illustrative. It's an Amazon. We had Amazon. Yeah, I think he left, unfortunately. I should have told him that I'm going to speak about his company. So it's an Amazon example. What happened with Amazon? They wanted to do things correctly and right, and they wanted to make sure to get the best candidates ever to work for their company. So now I'm making this up, yeah, but I can visualize it. Somebody came up with a great idea to develop an AI, which is just and ethical and just getting the best candidates. And what did they do? They had programmers, coders, and they took the CVs from the last 10 years. So we are now in the year, we're speaking about 2014, I think. And so they took the CVs from 2004 until 2014, yeah, and brought this data, put this data into a machine. And so garbage in, garbage out. The same year when they started to use this AI tool, they realized that this AI tool only chose men. Why? How could this happen? This happened because the CVs were mostly by men. And so whenever a woman applied in Amazon, the person got rejected when the AI found out that it was not a man, because it was trained that only the best candidates were men, yeah? So this is very illustrative. Yeah, it sounds so simple, but it really happened. It's a real case. But the good news is they realized this very quickly, and then they stopped using this tool. Alarming. The next tool, this is a tool also from the United States, and I'm very critical, so I also caveat here. Yeah, I'm very critical with these tools, and I know that HR directors sometimes would love to kill me for my comments. So please, yeah, I think the in-between position is the best. So what I tell you is more negative, and a HR director would tell you it's fantastic and it helps a lot. What am I talking about? So imagine that you want to apply for, I make up a big corporation, a huge corporation, and you want to apply for a job at a huge corporation. And this huge corporation receives applications, well, I don't know, like thousands a day. So I understand that for HR, this is really complicated. So what did they do? HireVue allows the candidates to record a short video. And in this short video, HireVue records you and pays a lot of attention on your gesture of your face, how is your pronunciation, what you say, the words that you use, etc. You can already imagine, but again, caveat, I'm a bit negative, yeah, with these tools. So the problem here is, if you, for example, happen to have a strong accent, yeah, if you're, for example, not a native English native speaker, or in German, I would have a Swabian accent, or have a strong accent in Spanish, yeah, then this HireVue would judge me negatively, or would even reject me right at the beginning, yeah. Or also, this is another issue, that these kind of tools at the beginning had a huge problem with darker skin. Why? Because the first prototype of facial recognition was on the basis of white skin. And this error is still out there. So one garbage in, garbage out, it's in the world, the errors. The other AI systems still base their further developments on these systems with error, and then that makes it very, very difficult to get rid of the error, yeah? So in this case, darker skinned people have a much more difficult time getting recognized by facial recognition. So this is another thing. And the third tools that also exist out there, I won't say names of the companies, are tools that help employers to adapt their salary negotiations while they are speaking with candidates. Meaning, the employers and the AI system have that much information on the candidates, that they know where you live, how much money the system needs, you think you need for living, according to where you live, and so on and so forth, and how much you earned before, and so on and so forth, yeah? So this is all in this AI tool, and while the employer is talking to you, and I don't know if they're using then their mobiles, I have no idea, they can adapt the salary according to the information. Again, I'm a bit pessimistic, and I know that other HR directors would see this a little bit different. But this is what we're living with at the moment. Okay, quickly, regulations related to the use of AI. So, the Articles 54 and 55 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union give us the legal base for EU intervention in company law and corporate governance. I already talked about it, the AI Act, which will, we think, come maybe. Let's keep fingers crossed. Okay, it was leaked in February. We think that, or the agreement of the 27 member states was leaked in February. Now it's back with the European Parliament. We think the European Parliament will come maybe to final decisions in April this year. I recall the 12th of April. And we think that they will make it before June. Why before June? Because then we have elections. And here you can see, in case of non-compliance, that this can cost a lot of money. So for example, from 7.5 million or 1 million euros or 1.5% of global turnover to 35 million or 7% of global turnover, depending on the infringement and size of the company in case of non-compliance with the EU AI Act. Legal personality. This is also one of my favorite topics. Why? Because there are many among us that think that it's not necessary that an AI has legal personality. So at the moment, AI as such, like a robot, does not have legal personality. And Vanessa, there's an amazing case, I don't know if you're familiar with it, from December last year, of the Supreme Court I think it was in England, on the question if an AI can register a patent. And so the judges came to the conclusion that an AI does not have legal personality and as such cannot register a patent. Yeah. And maybe you think, oh, bloody hell, this is why would this be important? Well, I think as we are always moving forward, and with Markus, we have been discussing that now, even before, human rights were only an issue between people, natural people, persons. And now it seems that we want to oblige companies to have to apply human rights, yeah? And I think we should also switch and always be a bit futuristic in thinking, how do we want to be the robots between us, yeah? Do we want them to give a legal personality or not? If they, in the future, will be very, very similar to us human beings. Already in 2018, when I was giving a very similar speech in favor of legal personality for robots, the moderator, the chair of the table, was not as kind as you, Vanessa. By the way, it was in Scotland. And he interrupted me and he said, I've never heard such a bullshit in my whole life. Yeah, it was not very nice. So he was definitely not very futuristic thinking. But I just want to invite you to think that also animals did not have rights. Even slaves did not have rights. Yeah, corporations did not have certain rights. So maybe we should start. We don't have to decide on this now, maybe not in 10 years, but I think we have to really be a bit futuristic and think of it for the future. Okay, so key issues, important legal issues is liability, you just mentioned it, Philippe, availability of data, privacy of data, cybersecurity, I mentioned it before. about transparency and predictability, respect for fundamental rights and freedom. To both issues, I can tell you one thing. As I told you before, I'm also working as a researcher in these huge research projects with academics from all over the world. And so we are discussing how can we use AI in research. And this is a really a very interesting question, because if you, and I invite you to do so, ask the ChatGPT if they could give you a reference to any question that you might have, a research reference so, of a scientist, ChatGPT will be able to do this. But it will be able to do this on the basis of the data it has been fed with. Yeah, and there are some really, again, and I don't want to overcharge this now or overload this, yeah, but there we enter a new problem, because as a scientist or as a researcher, you would only be able to recognize by any AI worldwide if you have a so-called DOA number. And so I know, as I love to publish, and I publish in 4 different languages. And last year, or 2 years ago, I published a book in Germany, and with an editorial, with 2 editorials, Springer Verlag and another editorial which is not existing anymore. And both did not give us a DOA number, which is a real problem, because then you cannot be found as a researcher worldwide. Yeah, this is really a problem. And then an AI would not give you as a possible answer. But maybe not as lawyers, not as in the legal academic sector, but in other spheres of academy, researchers really depend also on their publications or citations. And if they don't have this number, then they don't exist anymore. Yeah. So it's really the problems are very, very various. It's not so easy to tackle this. Yeah, non-discrimination, impartiality, human centricity. It should always be human-centered. Accountability, the trust. We talked a lot about trust today. Precautionary principle, principle of solidarity, and safety. And now, in order to fulfill the time, this last judgment I promised you from Amsterdam. Somebody's familiar with this, of the Dutch people here, the Dutch colleagues, with the Amsterdam Court of Appeal Court against Uber and Ola. Are you familiar with this case? Yeah? No? Okay. So what happened here? What happened here? I think we all know Uber. Yeah, I love Uber. So what happened here? So Uber and Ola, which seems to be like Uber, I don't know Ola. It's right. Is it like? It's a question. Is it like Uber? No. Okay, you don't know. Okay. So what did they do? They dismissed. They took decisions against their drivers, yeah, because as the Uber drivers, on the basis of using an AI. So they dismissed some Uber drivers based on AI decisions. And these Uber drivers went to court saying this is not okay, and because they wanted to have more information on the reasoning of their dismissals. And Uber was just saying, no, this was the AI decision and we would not give you more information. They said this is also because of trade secrets. We cannot tell you how our AI was made up. It's a trade secret. So, but this ended up at the high level of the Court of Appeal, and they said, no, dear Uber and Ola Cups, this is not true. And Uber and Ola also said that it's not true that their decision was only done on the basis of AI, but they had always also a brain or human thinking in the loop. And the court came to the decision that this is not true.
We have a short timeline here, so we understand where we are.
That this was rather made up by Uber, but that they
limits on merchant fees. Of course, this
really
is very
only
important.
Depended on their decision on AI, and this cannot be done. And also, their trade secrets argument was not valid, and so this was a vulneration of. I just have to. Vulneration of the Article 22 of GDPR and the right to explanation under Articles 13 and 15 GDPR. Yeah, so this is a judgment, a most recent judgment that I wanted to present to you, showing you that yes, you can use AI, but as Philippe said before, always using your human brain or have humans in the loop. And that's it. I thank you very, very much for your active participation, for asking questions. And now you can ask me even more questions. Vera, yeah, please.